Hi, welcome to My Kitchen Her Story, where we celebrate all things female leadership. We aim to inspire, empower, and educate. Our today's guest talks about a leaking bladder. Yes, you heard that right. Her family's 30-year journey in healthcare, incontinence care, and her upbringing formed her into a taboo breaker, high-impact entrepreneur, and inspired her to launch Jude, a category builder changing the way we talk about bladder health. She's a women's health advocate, having built and launched a women's health company before, distributed 6 million pieces of personal protective equipment during pandemic. I still remember the first time when I met her. She was smart, she was gorgeous, she was clear what her mission was. She was sharp, she is a shark. She is your dream founder and an investment opportunity, but she's so much more than that, and I would love to tell you a little bit more about the founder of Jude, Peony Li.
Hi! Hello! Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much
I love
for coming.
this set so much.
You have such a fascinating background and amazing stories and journey, but also what you're doing is such a high impact, and I would love to dive into that. But before we do so, please tell me, what are we cooking and why?
Trying to make a little treat for us today.
Okay.
So I'm making sushi, and
We love sushi.
Exactly. Very healthy.
Okay.
Simple to eat, but not so simple to make. So we need to team up today for sure.
I am your sous chef.
Yes.
I've been doing okay so far, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, our guest would say, but I'm really excited. I've never made sushi. Why are we making sushi? Why did you pick this dish?
Yeah, so when I grow up, I'm from Hong Kong.
Okay.
Every Sunday, my family and I would go to our local sushi bar and just have sushi for dinner.
Okay.
And then, so yeah, lots of memories, lots of discussions. And I remember that's kind of the only time that we actually get to chat.
Okay, and really spend the quality time
really
together?
spend the quality time, because like the food is simple to eat, it's yummy, and so before Monday starts, it's just a good moment to refresh, you know, the week.
Yeah.
So yeah, sushi has a really important place in my heart.
Amazing.
But it's also just, yeah, yummy and delicious.
I mean, who doesn't like sushi? I can
Exactly.
eat it every day, all day. So we have some cucumber, avocado, crab, prawns that we're gonna fry.
Yeah.
We have some seaweed, and we have some fish eggs.
Yes, some like
Call them
salmon
fish
roe.
eggs? Salmon roe?
Yeah.
Amazing. So tell me how I can get started, what do you need from me, and then we'll just dive into your story.
Cool. So it's gonna be like dragon roll, where we have like avocado on top.
So we have our little
Roller.
Do we put it vertically or
So
horizontally?
we put it this way.
Horizontally,
And then we'll put like a cling film. What would be good to do first is to cut the cucumbers so that goes into the roe.
What kind of shape do you want it in?
It will be like this kind of like long shape. And then the crab meat, which you very generously bought it for us, we'll mix it with Kewpie mayo and some sriracha. Put the crab meat in there, mix it so it gives the crab meat a little bit of like a tangy flavor. And so once all the like individual ingredients are there, the rice is already done. We need to mix.
So we're doing rice in this rice cooker.
In a rice cooker, exactly.
Okay, and then we'll do you want me to slice the asparagus in any specific
Yeah,
way?
so if we slice this into like little kind of, I would say like that.
Yeah.
So imagine that kind of coming here like that, and then as thin as that would be great. So we actually don't need a whole cucumber. And then the avocado last, because it brews with oxygen and oxidation.
So we'll do the last.
We'll do the avocado
Perfect.
last.
So we can get started with this.
I'm gonna
You get
fry the
started.
prawns while you do the cucumber.
Perfect.
What do you think?
Let's do that.
Okay.
So you're from Hong Kong.
Yes.
So you were born there.
I was born and raised in Hong Kong. I studied in an all-girls school, in a convent school. Can you believe it?
What's a convent school?
It's basically managed and run by like nuns.
Okay.
And I just dreamt of going to the best university in the world. And so I told my mom, I'm going to go to Oxbridge. And then she was just like,
controversial statements. How? Okay, Cambridge and Howard is coming for you and all the others.
In my very like narrow mind when I was young, I always thought Oxbridge. That's like the dream university. So
Right.
then I told my mum, want to go to the UK, don't know how, but please very kindly fund me. And then so off I went after like 5-6 months.
Yeah.
So I did boarding school in the UK. I arrived to the UK when I was 15 years old. And I don't speak more than 3-4 sentences of English consecutively. So
Wait, so you moved to the UK without speaking the language?
I speak English, but I was very shy and I was
Okay.
very, very timid. And I want to get everything perfectly right in terms of accent.
Perfectionist here.
Yeah, and so I never really dared speaking more than 3-4 sentences
Right. Okay.
for about 3 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long
Silent
time.
meditation in action here.
It's a long time, but I've always, I suppose, done well in writing and like exams and like the dream have come true for me. So I went to Cambridge, to economics,
Yeah.
and met so many more different kind of people at university that speak English differently. And I was just like, oh, this is liberating.
So it's okay to
It's
have
okay.
an accent and to...
It's totally okay to have an accent. It's totally okay not to be perfect. And it's also, completely fine to not speak the language well whilst having a great brain and having great ideas that you can express as much as you can.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where I started to open up my shout a little bit more.
Right.
The last year of my university life.
It's interesting because when you talk about being shy about
Yeah.
your accent and speaking the language and all of that, I've experienced that when I first moved here. I mean, I'm from Georgia and,
Yeah.
I can't even reenact what a Georgian accent is because I guess I never really had a typical Georgian
Yeah.
accent. But nonetheless, I had an accent. I mean, I still do. My accent goes all over the place and it changes depending on who I speak to.
Same. Same.
But when I remember I was in my first job in a tech company.
Yeah.
I'm loud. I mean, I laugh loud, I cry loud, I don't know, I have accent, one different to another next week. And I was like in the middle of, we were in a team meeting. And one of my colleagues goes, my God, you're so loud. Is that a Eastern European thing?
Wow.
And I remember, and it's probably not a big thing and people are like, oh, don't be so precious. Like, it's
How did you
not
feel
a big...
at that time? I'm gonna put this phone in here.
felt
Not ready yet.
heat in my chest area and like I wanted to disappear.
Yeah.
I felt so uncomfortable and so like, oh my God, I am too much. Like I am too loud. And so since then, I've been really aware of my tone and how high pitch it is or whatever and how loud. And only in the last probably couple of years, not more, that I actually really worked on myself and shaped myself into being more unapologetically me.
Yeah.
And that's been really liberating. But anyway.
And that's the Tamta today.
That is the Tamta today.
Without your ex-team colleague,
Yes.
there wouldn't be a unapologetic, authentic Tamta.
Yeah, for sure. And it
Yeah.
was definitely a journey, but it still is. But I definitely relate to you when it comes to that feeling of, do I fit in?
Yeah.
Like, how do I make myself not stand out in a bad way that, I have an accent, or I look different, or I sound different, or whatever
Yeah.
that is. How do you...
My experience.
How did you combat that? How do you feel about that now?
I was the exact opposite actually as you. I was very shy and quite timid. And this is perfect actually.
Good size?
Yeah. I need to just make sure this is working. I
Well,
hope it
you know
is
what I've been
working.
told?
Oh, it is working.
Oh! Sizzling!
Perfect. And we'll just put another one in there.
Should we do all of them?
I think we actually only need 2.
Well, we can eat more.
But we can eat more for sure.
Yeah. So tell me, how did that then go and progress?
Yeah, so my first job is in investment banking, which is quite male dominated. And I was being called my little Asian robot because I was very
Wait, what?
productive. Yeah.
Wait, you were called
My little Asian robot.
Wow.
So it's like
Okay.
degrading in all different types of ways.
Okay.
Because I was very productive and I
Right.
worked very hard, but then that has turned to, somehow that has turned to be a bad thing, like a robot, or you're my little Asian robot.
Whose little Asian robot were you? Who was that referring to you?
He's just an associate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I was working with him like on a project, and he think it's funny as a joke to do that. But you know,
Okay.
at the time, I didn't like really voice anything out.
Right.
Apart from that, there's also other stereotypes like, oh, I didn't know you're actually sociable. I didn't know you can actually have a good chat. And so these are kind of like the moments where I really clearly identify, yes, I look different.
Yeah.
I have a different culture compared to other people.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have fit into the stereotype of what they see an Asian should be. And it's the first time that I kind of realized actually there is this advantage that tags along with my identity and my ethnicity. And then from there on, I kind of like say, I want to break that mold. You know, the disadvantage is like people see you as one way.
Yeah.
But I'm a really big believer on actually what is more important is what's your second impression? What's your third impression? Like, how do you really express who you are consistently? How you show up consistently after your first impression? And I really believe in that. And so, you know, it's about cultivating those long-lasting relationships with people, breaking the mold, and work harder than other people. And if that needs to be the case,
But I feel like
then
that's embedded in our cultures. I mean,
perhaps.
Eastern Europe and Asian
Perhaps.
cultures, right? Like hard work, respect.
respect, hard work. Yeah,
Very
exactly.
important, right?
I think in to a certain degree, like obedience, you know,
That is true.
respect your parents, obey your parents, and that's very ingrained in us. And you know, when you bring that forward to society,
Yeah.
somehow that works in some cultures, and some it just doesn't work in some cultures.
Yeah.
In the UK specifically, people like really like seeing you have the right questions, you have to ask the right questions, and don't just give the right answers.
Right.
And that you have your own ideas and you can express it and voice it out. I think in Asia, it's very much like, can she do the work? And if she can, prove herself for, you know, a consistent amount of time, and then we'll talk about the weather.
Yeah.
Whereas in the UK, it's like, let's talk about the weather for 20 years and then let's get down to work.
Guys, controversial opinion. Sorry. Well, to be honest, not a controversial opinion. I actually had a very good friend at uni here, English. And every time I would ask her for her opinion, I would only ask her if I wanted to feel good about myself. Because she would never want to make me feel bad.
Yeah.
So, you know, hey, like, do I look good in this dress? She's like, you look gorgeous.
Oh.
Gorgeous. And I was like, you know what? That's a great feel-good friend. But also when I really needed a tough love,
Yeah.
I would pull in my more unapologetically direct friends to give me the harsh reality.
We need different types of people like surrounding us to feed us and nurture us, you know, what we need to listen at the time. And I felt like growing up in the cultures that we grew up, it's usually tough love. I don't know whether that is the same as you, but like very high standards. You want to do the thing right. You want to be, you know, a little bit more than perfect.
But coming from that, and I know that you can pop them on camera. I'm guessing that your parents also then had the whole tough love, kind of high expectations from their children. And a lot of the times, and I know that from my experience with my parents, I had a moment of resentment. Of like, why do I have to study till so late? Why do I have to do all these things? Like, why is B minus not good enough, and why are other parents of my friends okay with everything else, and why are you so hard on me?
Yeah.
And so I had that kind of maybe a little bit of resentment in that development towards them. Did you experience something like that, and has that kind of lasted throughout your life, or did you learn something from it and pivot from there?
Yeah, I think like everything is a gift and a curse at the same time.
Yeah.
So like, because they have been like really strict on me and demand like really high standards, like 99 out of 100 is not good enough.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
why
like, where
is
did
it-
that 1% go?
Yeah, what is wrong with that 1%? Like literally. I think it's a curse when you view it as a curse, when you view it as a hindrance that kind of holds you back in life, but you can also view it as a gift that propels you, and for you to gently tell yourself you can actually do better. Like, where are the areas that you can look to improve?
Yeah, but at that time, we're kids.
I know.
We're not gonna think
I
like,
know.
oh, I can do better, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I can. Yes, that 1%, I shouldn't have lost it, and I think like to an extent, it's still not like my reality now, but I think it's more like understanding where they came from.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm sure your parents came from a place that we want to give you the best.
Yeah, we want to give you the best. They're entrepreneurs themselves.
Okay.
As well.
What is their background? I'm gonna mix the crab with Kewpie mayo.
Kewpie mayo and a little bit of sriracha.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. They actually have dedicated 30 years of their lives in women's health.
Oh wow!
And,
so now I
incontinence
understand
care.
where your whole passion for women's health come from. Okay.
They've been serving women and people across, I guess, like worldwide.
Yeah.
Their products reached about, I think, like about 30 countries globally. And what they do is they manufacture like diapers, liners, pads for women, period products. For postnatal products.
So they are also then in unconventional, more unspoken, a little bit of taboo type of industry, right?
Can you imagine growing up, having your friends at school saying, "Oh my God, your parents produce nappies and diapers"?
Oh, was that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Being laughed at like quite a lot.
So like what, them taking a make out of?
Yeah.
They sell pads.
Yeah, they sell like diapers. It's so funny, and you know, like it has become like a part of me. And because I have like a very. Do you want me to squeeze the Kewpie mayo?
Yes. Why is it always so hard to squeeze it? Every
know.
single video I've seen with Kewpie mayo is like everyone is like, ooh.
Okay,
See?
there we go. Let's
Squirt.
try if that's enough.
Yes.
And
So
then just
stop me when.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, and then we can like mix it together.
Perfect. Yeah. So that was obviously the tough one, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, I always have like a rebellious side of me, meaning if someone is laughing at me or disagree with me, of course I'll be upset like right at the get-go, but then I will kind of think of ways to, I guess I'll think of ways to combat that internally. So I'll be like, actually, you know what my parents are doing is really cool. They're like helping people. We need all these products from the moment that we're born to the moment that we leave this world. And my parents look after the whole life cycle of humans. And yes, it's a taboo industry, but this industry is a necessity. Yeah. It's a need. It's not going to go away. Yeah. And yeah, it's a huge respect to my parents, and they build all of that from like ground up, from zero. They came from poverty, and so I think that their own expectations towards themselves are extremely high. Right. And I think that is like the way of them. How do you set up the business? What's the right way to go forward with things? How do you keep yourself disciplined? Right. And it's difficult, right? Like for you to have that amount of discipline and like drive in your business and not wanting your kids to embody the same spirit.
than how your parents experience and
Thank you.
what they do and how they contribute to women's health kind of shaped your passion for it and you got into the industry.
Yeah. So I think the first most direct thing is like around a dinner table, incontinence, periods, menstruation, menopause have never even been allowed to be a taboo. They talk about it every day. They talk about every day. And so growing up, it's like there's no topics that need to be swept under the carpet.
Right.
It's all like
And
a
that's
normal
very
part of
refreshing.
life. It is quite refreshing.
Yeah.
And when I realized it is actually not a normal topic to talk about, people are quite stiff upper-lipped about it.
Right.
I was very surprised.
Okay.
I think the second kind of element is like it's just their dedication and their resilience and their persistence, you know. It's difficult to build a business. They own factories, they build factories from scratch, and building factories 30 years back in China is like the Wild West, you know, Wild East, only it is in the East. And like they will be facing floods and fire and all that kind of stuff that might just blow up the whole raw material section of the factory. And so now that I have the privilege to be a founder, to be an entrepreneur, I think back, you know, the amount of risks that they're taking, the amount of, I guess, pain or growth or anxiety. I just have huge respect for like what they're doing and how they always want to reach one more woman that they can serve. The quality of the products, how my mum is in like quality assurance department, my dad is in sales. And so it's like, it's so interesting, right? Looking at them partnering up together and doing something of a mission that is not just about, you know, profitability. And I think that is always what I have wanted to create for myself.
And that is that what inspired Jude?
That is what partly inspired Jude.
Okay.
So obviously, like the roots from my parents has been the biggest one, but also I've been in a women's health company a few years ago. So helping a women's health company that looked at period pain, endometriosis, and gynecology as a service. We launched that company and really opened my eyes up to all the types of women's health issues that are underfunded, under-researched. There's a gender health gap. There's a gender pain gap. When we experience health issues, we're more likely to just say, you know what, that might be a normal part of being a woman.
Right.
We might be dismissed by doctors more than men do, just because we're women, and it's from a historical context of.
And so how is Jude addressing women's health? Talk me through a little bit.
Yeah.
I know that it really addresses a leaking bladder.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing before I met you.
Oh.
I had, zero idea what's a leaking bladder. My bladder doesn't leak. And why? And I think like the only other reason that I could think why is the postpartum kind of, issues and
Get more rights,
all of that. So talk me through a little bit. First of all, what is the issue and how are you helping address that issue?
Sure. So 2.3 billion people globally suffer from bladder issues. And it's a lot of people.
Like that.
Yeah, it's about like 1/3.
Yeah, that's a huge amount.
And 1/3 of women suffer from bladder issues. And then...
But 2.3 including men? So anyone can suffer from a leaking bladder? It could be male or female?
It could be men and it could also be women. And so when I say bladder issues, there are quite a lot of different types of bladder issues. So what everyone knows is leaking and incontinence.
Yeah.
But actually just needing to go to the toilet quite frequently in the day, that is like affecting your life. You know, that is called the overactive bladder. And it's not very well known, but it's a lot of people suffer from that. Waking up at night to go to the toilet more than 3 times, that is also another condition. And like both my mum and my dad, even however healthy they are, they still have that issue. And
what is usually the cause for it?
Yeah. So for women, one of the bigger cause for overactive bladder and stress incontinence would actually be a drop of estrogen and hormone imbalance.
Right.
So as we grow older, our estrogen level gradually decreases more and more.
Okay.
And our whole body are full of estrogen receptors. And they're little receptors that bind to your hormone and function and, do good to your body. So one example is in our pelvic floor, which is this sling of muscle that sits just below our bladder.
They do a lot of you go to a bar class or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Pelvic floor strengthening exercise. A lot of that.
Yeah.
So does that also help with the bladder health?
It does.
Okay.
But the issue is when we then get older. I'm just going to put some soy sauce in the rice to mix it in there.
Perfect.
When we get older, there's not enough estrogen in our pelvic floor lining, which means the receptors are now not getting enough estrogen.
Okay.
When the estrogen binds to those receptors in the pelvic floor, it stimulates collagen production, and then it starts to generate more muscle growth in your pelvic floor, giving you more control, giving you a thicker, more elastic pelvic floor, and that is how you squeeze in when you really want to go. But as you have less and less estrogen, then the reverse happens. So even how much you tone it and do your pelvic floor exercises, it can help. But, we always say health comes from nutrition first. It comes from what you take in, what is in your body.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do at Jude is really to look at and build a category around how do we link up bladder health with nutrition.
Right.
When we look at bone health and heart health, it's always about prevention, the calcium that you eat, the vitamin D, and all these kind of minerals that you can have. But for bladder health, it's okay, or when it malfunctions, you realize the organ is there. And
The organ is there.
exactly. You don't talk about bladder every day, do you?
No, I mean, I've never.
Okay, so
Really?
the rice is here. I do really want to try
Try it.
and see whether that's the right
You want to have your
level
spoon
of
back?
acidity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I put the cling film on. I don't know
that's
if I
good.
put it on the right side, wrong side, sticky side. I don't know.
That's
Does
perfect.
it matter?
It's all right if you fold it.
So we fold it.
So make it just kind of like a piece of roller.
Okay. So we wrap it.
Yeah.
In it. Should I detach it or should it?
Oh
we
yeah,
leave it?
let's detach it.
Okay.
Can you detach
Can you hold that there?
it? Oh, like that?
Yeah. Probably not great for my Japanese knife, but you
Very
know.
beautiful Japanese
I
knife.
know.
Very
you
nice.
know, I actually started cooking during COVID. My dad was very proud.
Yeah.
And so I have this thing with aesthetics.
yeah.
I love aesthetically pleasing
Things.
things. Just, I mean, it could be anything. It could be the dish I'm plating on. It could be a knife. It could be pen and paper, like whatever, notepad.
Yeah.
Since I was a kid. And so I was like, I'm going to now go and get like some exciting knives. And then I went to this Japanese knife company and I chose a few of them. I was slicing tomato with different knives for like 2 hours.
Oh my god.
And
It's
it was-
therapeutic.
but they're so sharp.
Yeah.
It's like super sharp, but it's also 100-layer steel.
Oh wow.
Melted.
That's so cool.
I mean, how
That's
cool is
so
that?
so cool actually.
Anyway, this is not an ad, by the way. Maybe it should be. Call us. But back to
Yeah.
solving the leaking bladder. So now we have a good understanding of what it is and
Yeah.
what the different causes could be. But how does actually it's a supplement?
It is a supplement.
Okay.
So we talked about the estrogen.
Yeah.
So we have a plant-based estrogen in our supplements that is really high quality and high grade. That just acts as your kind of daily diet
top-up
supplement. Yeah, like
on
a top up.
estrogen.
Exactly.
Okay.
The second ingredients that we have in the supplement, it's a very unassuming one. It's pumpkin seeds.
I
Who
love
knows?
pumpkin seed oil.
Yeah.
It's a thing in Georgia.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm going to bring it
Ah.
back for you next time I'm there.
Please do.
I am that
Please
like
do.
person. Hopefully no Heathrow border officers
What are the kind
are
of like
watching this, but-
benefits for pumpkin seed oil in Georgia that you guys talk about?
We don't. We
You
just
don't?
eat it
You just
because it's
eat it.
delicious.
That is why you probably have a very strong bladder, very strong heart health. So pumpkin seeds are actually being
Okay.
prescribed by doctors to patients across Europe, especially in Germany. It's regarded as a traditional medicine for
Interesting.
lower urinary tract symptoms, meaning
Wow.
incontinence, overactive bladder.
Okay.
Yeah, so the origin of people loving pumpkin seed oil in Georgia, that there is a story behind it.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
very,
God, tell
very
me.
good for you.
What?
So what it does, it like
Oh, you mean as in like the benefits?
the benefits of it
Okay.
is not like coming from like nowhere.
Yeah.
Actually, what we need to do now, should we
Yes.
go back to the food?
Yeah, it's fine. You can just carry on
I actually
doing
need
what
like
you're doing.
seaweed here.
Seaweed. Okay.
Yeah,
Should
the
we
nori.
do the
Is it
lower
still
one?
crispy?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Do
Should
you
we
want
get
a new one?
We'll get a
Yeah.
new one.
So we do it in different ways. You have pumpkin seed oil,
Yeah.
which I love. We call it cajorizeti. Bit
Ooh.
of a Georgian in there. So
Very, very
Cajeti is
cool.
a region in Georgia.
Yeah.
And that's where this oil, zeti is oil. So that's where this oil kind of originates from.
Yeah. So we're gonna spread the rice,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna put the prawns, put the crab, put the cucumber.
Should I slice the avocado?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be great.
So yeah, that's where it comes from, and we eat it in oil.
Yeah.
But also we fry it.
Ah, you use the oil
Like-
to fry other
no,
things?
the
No,
seeds.
The seeds.
And we eat it as sunflower seeds you would eat, and they're delicious. Just
They
a little bit
are.
of salt
They're
and dry
amazing.
fry.
Honestly, they're amazing for you. They're amazing for women. They're amazing for men. What they do is they release nitric oxide in your body. And nitric oxide does your heart wonders because it relaxes the blood vessels. And so your heart work less hard to pump the blood around your body.
Right.
So if you Google it, it's amazing for heart health. The same relaxing effect from nitric oxide also goes to your bladder. So if you have a bladder
Yeah.
that's a little bit anxious and keep contracting when your brain doesn't want it to contract,
Yeah.
the pumpkin seed just do the wonders to
Okay.
relax it overall.
Okay.
So
Amazing. So these are the ingredients in Jude, and then are you planning on developing like a further line? What is the goal? What is
Yeah.
your vision for
For
the
sure.
company?
For sure. So actually the development would be focusing on the pumpkin seeds as our
Okay.
next step. So currently, one daily dose of our supplement contains about 71
Okay.
pumpkin seeds worth of extracts.
Okay.
And they're also extracted in a patented way, which
Okay.
means your body get the most
So it can absorb
active. Exactly,
better?
absorb better in your gut. It's very active, it's very like concentrated. It's very good for you. We are currently registering and getting a medical license for the pumpkin seed in the UK.
Okay.
So we can actually start offering our products to people as a medicine.
Oh wow!
So-
and that's a whole different chapter
It's a
and
different,
regulations
it's
and
different.
everything, right?
It's different, exactly. I'm gonna put it
Amazing.
here.
Do we? Are these staying on the tails?
When we cut it, it will have the tail. But if you want to chop it
No,
off,
no. I'm
that's
just
good
curious.
too.
Amazing. So, how was the journey
Yeah,
as a founder?
it's a roller coaster.
All of it, because we have guests that we talked about fundraising, co-founders,
Yeah.
relationships,
Yeah.
how you balance it all, like so many things. What is the most prominent topic for you? Like what would you say, like what comes first to mind when I say challenges? What's top of mind?
I think for us is like breaking the taboo and reaching, like our mission is bring better bladder care into the mainstream globally. And why we have that as our mission is because this topic is not mainstream. Although so many people suffer from it, people are not willing to talk about it. And it's fine if you don't talk about it, but knowing the ways that you can, support yourself is incredibly important. And so being able to reach the right people. Oh, I'm gonna put it here.
Perfect.
Um,
I'll steal that.
yeah, still finding the right channels to reach, women who are experiencing that, and gently give them, the options and the advice that they need. Is really important. So can you imagine?
So it's education.
It's education. It's
Right?
awareness.
Okay.
It's reaching the people at the right time, in the right mind space that they think about their pelvic floor and their bladder, because not everyone thinks about it.
Oh yeah.
It's not like I'm selling a piece of garment or leggings. It's not as easy, or makeup. You really need to talk a lot about it.
I mean, also it takes education. If you don't know about it,
Yeah.
you don't know that's an issue. You also don't know if it's curable.
Exactly.
Or if it's something is wrong with you. Maybe temporary.
Yeah.
Maybe long term. We don't know.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, I'm now gonna.
So
try to
what
roll
about
it.
my butter?
It's gonna come on top of the
On
roll,
top?
actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
so I'm gonna try the
Good
first
job
one.
that I butchered it.
No.
Go. You do one, then I do one.
Okay. Yeah. For sure. All right.
Squeeze it. I've seen it on TV.
Yeah?
When you're like, we're making sushi, I was like, yes, I get to practice it. But then I was like, I don't know how we're gonna do that. Okay, so you're
Okay.
squeezing it
Yeah. I'm just making it like.
tight.
Yeah. I hope this works. And then, what we're gonna do? Let me try and. Do you mind if I refine some of the avocado?
I don't, because there's also another half I
Yeah.
left for you in case you wanted to do it more justice.
Do you mind? Because then it
That's
has to
one
go
way
on
to
top.
point out that I did a shit job.
It has to go on top. I'm
Fine.
so sorry.
Fine. I know. It just doesn't. Anyway, no, I know you're a perfectionist, so I guess. Oh.
And then
Okay.
we get the seed out.
Okay.
And then. Okay.
Okay. So, but also, was it hard to educate investors?
It is. It is. Like, you know what I talked about? I was a very shy, quite a timid girl.
Yeah.
And then now I need to come like to the fore, talk about bladder health and pelvic floor and peeing. It actually takes a lot in me to do that and to
Yeah.
educate investors who, you want to appear as intellectual and, proper in front of investors,
What is proper? Good question.
Yeah, so like it's a lot of like growing and I guess learning, reflection time to understand like what do I want to stand for? How do I show this passion? How do I make it into
Their mission.
yeah, their mission?
No?
Yeah, exactly. How do
Right.
I motivate them so that they can think, actually, you know what, this very niche topic has a lot of market,
Yeah.
and if I can invest $1 million or $2 million in this company, it's not just that I'm going to get my returns, but I'm going to help so many people live a much better quality of life.
Yeah.
And articulating to them why this is, a massive business opportunity.
Right.
But also giving them the context about, our customers are telling us how it has transformed their lives. Those is irreplaceable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, when I first speak to investors, right, their jaw just dropped.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that the
what?
reaction?
Incontinence?
Let me help you
What
out.
is incontinence? Bladder? What bladder?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to very quickly see the room, and it's Zoom times, like during COVID. So, you have to just understand what they're not willing to dive in more and what they actually are interested in hearing, and trying to change the sentiments of that room quickly and tell them, you know what, I actually have something very interesting to tell you. And when you see their eyes and ears perk up after the third sentence, then they know, okay, this meeting is going to last at least for a very fruitful 30 minutes. They're going to actually listen to what I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first kind of 1 minute is so important, how you
Yeah.
introduce yourself. And yes, I talked about, I'm a big believer of second impression, third impression, but sometimes life doesn't give you that many chances.
And you know what? That's like one thing.
I love
One
this
thing
knife,
about you
so
when
good.
I first met you.
Yeah.
We met at a restaurant.
Yes.
For tea.
For tea, yeah.
So she sat down, and I talked in another episode about the power of having the right founder run the business, and having that faith and trust in her to take this business to the next level. And you were one of the earlier introductions into my kind of
your community,
into my community, into the world of founders, because I come from, you know, very corporate tech background.
Yeah.
And so this was the time when I'm meeting like so many amazing founders with ideas, some on the way, some new. And so I'm still kind of getting in tune with combining the data with my gut. And you were my first gut founder.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was. I'm so honored. I feel a bit embarrassed.
Well, since we talk about blood, our gut is right there.
Gut
you know?
yeah, exactly.
And so you were the first one when you kind of left. I was like, she's amazing.
Oh.
And so, but you were just so, I mean, you had your act together more than many people I know. And it was just so clear what you were trying to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Thank you for that.
Yeah. So that was amazing. And I just remember that story when you said the impressions count.
Yeah.
You didn't have to have the second go for me
Thank
after
you.
that
You're
meeting.
very kind. You're very kind.
Well,
and I did recorded all my pitches with
You did?
investors, so then I
Okay.
can train up that first impression.
Oh,
and
wow.
trained up like where am I repeating myself too much? Where am I, just doing the right kind of pitch?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a very good training session for myself.
Would you then watch it back at it?
Yeah, I'll watch it back.
Oh God.
I'll watch it back and then I'll be like, okay, I'm not doing so well. Going back to perfectionism.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, going
Well,
back to
clearly,
that.
look at these avocados and look at my avocados. We're not talking about it. You're not meant to show me off in a bad light here, okay? You're my guest. What's wrong with you?
Because like they have the curve in a way that the dragon roll curves.
They have a curve
Okay,
in the way.
so
Okay, you're squeezing the avocados
yeah, squeezing them again, and I'm gonna just have the cling film actually doing that.
too. Okay. And so we leave the cling film on.
And then we can just cut it.
In the cling film.
Yeah, so
You
it
want to
keeps
feed
its
me
shape.
plastic?
It keeps its shape, and then we can remove the cling film.
Okay, fine.
Well, that's how I see all the YouTube videos do. So.
This is not your first time making this.
No, I practice it on Sunday.
Is that because you were cooking here today?
So originally I wanted to do sushi with my boyfriend on Sunday anyways, because we have that planned in. And then you told me we're doing a cooking show, and I was like, oh my God.
I know,
cooking
because we
show.
pivoted like
What do we
overnight.
do? What do we do? Like,
'Cause
what do
why
I
not?
cook? What is like meaningful to cook or interesting to cook?
Yeah.
Oh, this knife is just amazing.
I
Oh
know,
my
right?
God,
Like a butter.
So good.
There you go. Boyfriend, wink, wink.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Yeah.
Again, not sponsored.
Yeah.
Japanese knife company, call me.
So good.
Yeah, they're really nice. And I got some sesame seeds too.
Oh yeah, let's sprinkle on
Should
that.
we do
Any
the fancy-
seeds are good. And pumpkin seeds, sesame
Well, see,
seeds.
we don't have pumpkin seeds,
Yeah.
and we should.
Yeah, I
Licking
should
bladder and
I
all.
should have brought it.
But okay, amazing.
Yeah, so
So I want to ask you, because your experience has been so vast, but also some might view it as privileged, right? Your parents
definitely
have
very
been,
privileged.
your parents have been in the industry. They sent you to a certain school.
Yeah.
You got access to that education.
Yeah.
In the UK, you still faced
Yeah,
challenges.
I still
and
face
difficulties.
challenges.
You still are facing all of this. What can others say where we don't have the same background or the access? What are some maybe really easily transferable skills
Thank you.
that, or tips and tricks that we can give them
Yeah,
to really give them maybe not a fast track, but also give them ideas what they can do to get ahead?
yeah. So I think it really depends. Like, do you want to start a business that is venture backed to fuel your growth? If you want to do that lane, it's a different type of growth. It's a different type of network that you want to cultivate.
When you say the venture backed, and some of the viewers might be stay-at-home moms who want to do something in their spare time if they have any.
Yeah.
Others are more, There are seasoned corporates who want to pivot into entrepreneurships.
Yeah.
Some might be students who want to straight go into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
When you say venture backed, so we are saying in terms of the scale of the business, and venture backed means more capital?
Yeah, I guess it is. If you want to have more capital to start right at the get-go,
Right.
and have partners that actually fund you to allow you to make more expensive mistakes. I think that actually
That's a good way to put
summarize it in a way, and I'm very, very lucky to have that opportunity to be able to be trusted by other people to say, Peony, you know what, go and break this taboo.
Yeah.
And along the way, I know you're going to make some mistakes. We know it's going to be hard. We know it's going to cost a lot. So go and do it.
So if you want to go more high scale, then what?
Then it is a network that you want to build with investors.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
I am someone who knows no one, say, in venture capital world.
Yeah.
How do I build that network?
Yeah. So for me, I went to work in that world. I spent about 3 years.
In a venture capital fund?
Yeah, not in an accelerator, in an incubator where I get to see so many businesses who all want to get venture capital funds. And I get to cultivate a network of venture capital funds who want to fund, really good businesses. So from there, like I immerse myself in the network, get to know people, get to know the jargons and the language they speak.
Right.
And all of that is to pave the way for me to build a business with a little bit more capital.
Okay.
So I would say one way is to do that. The second way is a network. It's to network the hell of it. Like when you build the founder community, you also need to kind of meet everyone for coffee. And
spend
follow
that
up.
time to really get them know on personal level,
exactly.
Right.
And I think if you want something, you have to invest your time,
Right.
or effort,
And do
in
your
it,
research.
and do your research.
Right.
But if you don't want to go the venture route, if you want to start a business and like get ahead, there's so many ways to do it. If you're interested in products and want to sell products, actually Amazon is a really good way for your first bucket of cash. You can, upload a product, sell it. It's profitable right at the get-go. The customer acquisition cost is very low. A lot of people build, semi-successul businesses, large-scale businesses on Amazon that is profitable.
So yeah, amazing.
Sesame seeds. Let's do that.
Sesame seeds. Should I just, or are you gonna be like?
No, it's just the avocado because you see, we need to get those patterns on the roll.
Whatever you say.
Nice. I'm
Should we do
excited
black
to try.
ones too?
Yes.
Finally, we have our end product.
Finally.
Let's taste test.
Let's taste it.
Okay.
I hope it's going to be good.
They're big.
Yeah, they're quite
Generous.
chunky.
Should we dip
Yeah.
it?
Ooh. My chopstick skills has deteriorated since I land.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's awkward. All right.
Amazing.
It's good, actually.
Delicious. So much flavor. The fish roll really adds that saltiness. But then
It's
the crab
better
and
than
the
mine,
prawns
yeah.
are so good.
It's better than my Sunday roll. So I'm
Yeah?
really glad I
You're gonna
practiced
tell
it.
your boyfriend that you did better? So, first of all, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I like to wrap up our episodes with asking my guests for an advice for all the entrepreneurs out there. What is the one single advice? Could be multiple that you would give them from the perspective of you have gone through and being actively on that journey now?
Yeah, so we talked so much about perfectionism, doing your best. Best is not enough. And I think that there are certain traits of entrepreneurs who always want to be the better version of themselves and do better and reach higher. And so to combat that myself, I talk gently to myself, and being your biggest cheerleader is just going to be the most important thing, because it is a journey of many years, a decade, maybe 2 decades, and building up your own mental resilience and knowing how to self-soothe and cheer yourself up. I think that's just the most important.
Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
And you know that one advice from my friend really springs to mind when you say that. Caroline, shout out to Caroline. You know, when I was going through, and still am, my entrepreneurial journey, and I have constantly so many, you know, doubts, and some days I feel anxious and other days I feel more confident.
Yeah.
And that day I was really kind of beating myself up for the smallest little details. And she said, you know what? Look in the mirror, and when you're having that hard talk, like a bad talk with yourself, and you putting yourself down and putting all these doubts in yourself, imagine that you're telling this to me. Imagine that you're telling this to your sister, your close friend. Would you say that? Would you be that unkind to that person? Why are you so unkind to yourself? And that really resonated. And so after that, I've been kind of actively trying to revert that and not be so harsh on myself. And little wins are important.
So important. Like, talk to yourself like you talk to other people.
Well, depends on people.
You can, exactly. But you can WhatsApp me or record me a voice notes. Days when you feel down.
Right.
I might try to do the same because we all have those ups and downs.
Right.
And I think it's just, like, I have days where I bring those negative emotions to sleep and then waking up feeling like, you know, it's just not a nice feeling. But I think recognizing that that is going to be a path.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to go, there will be amazing days where you know, get an award or you won one of the biggest clients, but there'll be also days where, like,
nothing is going right.
Yeah, nothing's going right. Why have I been working on this for months and it hasn't grown at all? So
amazing.
we should
I
all
love that
be
advice.
here for each other and talk to ourselves gently.
Absolutely. Well, as a little thank you, we have a little small gift for you.
No way. I should be the one that gift. Like,
You are a gift
to
to
you.
us and to so many people out there with what you're doing and your business. But we have partnered up with a very special organization led by a woman.
yes.
It's called Flower Box.
Yeah.
And we have a little beautiful
Thank you
bouquet
so
just like
much.
you for you.
Oh my God. This is so surprising.
Oh my God, thank you for being here.
You're just the biggest blessing for womankind.
Don't make me cry now.
I also want to cry. Why are
But
you so good?
yeah, we do believe that everyone, women or men,
making me
deserve
cry.
a little
Thank
brightening up of
you.
their day.
Oh, I want to hug you again.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.